All right. Today we have Professor Richard Claproth in our show. You were introduced by a friend of a friend of a friend who said that should definitely interview you. And please introduce yourself shortly and also a bit of the framework. Where do you find yourself and conduct your work and investigations at the moment?
Okay, my name is Richard Claproth. I'm a scientist. I'm also a visiting professor in Brandeis University, and I also graduated from the John Kennedy School of Harvard in economics, but my background is a scientist. And then I worked for the Indonesian government for 35 years, and I was a deputy minister of economic, industry, and finance. I do a lot of deals with the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and so on. I also was a commissioner of the biggest bank here. So more or less I have a long experience with dealing with international organization. But since I'm already retired, I do more healing with future technology. And also I observe what happened with the public. So if I see something that is not right, then I will speak out. Because I was inside the system, so if I see something is not right, I can recognize it very quick compared to other people that, the common people. So I'm like a whistleblower, I can say.
Yeah. So if I interrupt you a little bit, so can you give me like an example, because you mentioned that you have been inside the system, you made the career there, a long career, and you said that you kind of interpret signals from there when you know that, okay, something is not right. So could you give us an example of this kind of signal?
Yeah, for example, I was in Bali 2 months ago, and I read in the Instagram that the mayor of Denpasar is the capital city of Bali, announced that they are going to release 200 million mosquito called Wolbachia. When I see this, and they want to release in 6 months, I release, you can smell it, that it's something not right. So I do my investigation. Actually, this program to release the 200 million mosquito is not from the government, but it was from a foundation from Australia called Gillespie Foundation. And then to release this in Bali, they have no permission from the governor. But why the mayor do it? So there is something very wrong. And then I see that the implementer is a foundation with very nice name called Save the Children Nation. Then they invite many government officials, and many government officials come to their meeting run by the Save the Children. And actually, these government officials do not know nothing. They just want to get legitimation. Then I start to move, and practically I was alone because I'm not Balinese. And I say, how to do this? Because you have to face like an evil forces. And I realized that this program, this releasing the mosquito or Wolbachia, actually was initiated by a private company, and they give the name as if it is a governmental body or a supernatural body called the World Mosquito Program. Actually, they're normal company. And Bill Gates, of course, is the founder. And then they try to convince the WHO that they have to alleviate the dengue fever diseases. And for that, they convinced WHO, and WHO then appointed their 12 countries become the experiment, and one of that is Indonesia. So the country that they go experiment, like Kiribati. Have you heard the country named Kiribati? I never heard that. Kiribati, Fiji, Vanuatu, Mexico, and then Indonesia. So they put like this. So when I realized this, I know this mosquito the purpose of this mosquito, when they release 200 million, they will suppress the mosquito that create dengue fever. And because of that, the dengue fever can be reduced. But from the ecosystem point of view, there will be another species, right? And I realized that the other species create Japanese encephalitis. So actually, it is a business of vaccine. It's a business of vaccine. They create problem and see the result, and they create vaccine. So then I start to talk, left, right, and so on. And I see that if I do this as a political movement, doesn't work. If I do also in education way, it will work. But what is the binding? The binding is the spiritual unity. So I see to the people in Bali, that 99% are Hindu, and I'm not Hindu. So I just come to this Hindu community leader, and the approach is very simple. I just say, Astungkara, meaning I worship the God inside of you, and with that we have spiritual unity, and then I explain them. Because if I explain directly to them, they will feel suspicious, and they never hear about this program. And if it is not spiritual unity, impossible to stop this program, because this program they already prepare already years. Yeah, but through spiritual unity, only in 5 days we can stop it in Bali. Only 5 days. But now they run another 5 cities in Java, because Indonesia have 70,000 islands. They are going to put in Jakarta. They already released in one city in Semarang and so on. They already released it a few months ago. And now I realize there are 5 children got encephalitis, and one of them already died. And then after that, the health department say everybody have to be vaccinated. So my suspicion is right. Then I invite all the national news, and I speak very hard, because I realize how the mosquito can be imported. Actually, our own intelligence give permission. Can you imagine? Our own intelligence, when I speak publicly, I receive a threat. Let Richard shut his mouth. I say, I will not shut my mouth even you are from intelligence. This is the duty of the government official to protect the people. How come our intelligence give this permission? Of course, I'm engineering myself, but now I have a lot of people that are aware. And next 2 days, we have demonstration with 1 million people. Can you imagine 1 million people is going to the Department of Health, contacting the parliament, and they will call the Minister of Health. But not only that, we also say that this is all designed by WHO, but you know the WHO, you can also have private company, and 88% of the fund is funded by Bill Gates. So then we demand to the government to quit from the pandemic treaty. Why we have to follow them? Because in the COVID, you understand that the COVID, there are more people die because of the vaccination, right? If you see people that don't get vaccinated have 7 times higher immunity than people get vaccinated. So learning from that, I think we have to tell the truth to the people. And what is interesting that in Indonesia, the majority are Muslim, and we have some of them are radicals. So if the Muslim move, people are always very cynical. But through this approach, spiritual unity, because I tell to them, it's not about religion, it's about unity. We have to unite that. And we have to fight with peace, not fighting, peace, because the government official is our brother and sister. Maybe they are still in the darkness. So we have to give enlightenment. So our message is peace, but educating with peace. That's Lika for the moment.
So we have been reporting on the WHO and the Gates funding, the Gates Foundation funding, and the possible threats of the pandemic treaty and the changes to the international health regulations. So in your view, is this now an example exactly those scenarios that many professionals, professors, doctors, researchers have been pointing out that are in this pandemic treaty? That basically we have a private entity, a marketing company, WHO. It's a pharmaceutical marketing company. It should be regulated as a marketing company. There is I mean, it's when it's privately funded, well, the laws say it is private, interfering with national governments, the health regulators, and using this kind of public-private partnerships with the crossing interest and creating a problem and selling a solution. So did I understand it correctly that you were able?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And about this 200,000 mosquitoes.
200 million.
200 million.
Yes.
How I mean, what mosquitoes are they? Where did they come from? And did they actually released in Bali? So
in Bali, we stopped it in Bali, but in another city in Java, they released already in 4 cities. Yeah, so in Bali, we success. So the mosquito was imported from Australia, from Monash University. And actually, this mosquito is a genetic modified mosquitoes. Yeah, so they give a micro injection to the mosquito, the male. So when the male mate with the female cannot have another mosquito. So depopulation of the mosquito. But if you depopulate one species, there's another species. And in the research, this is the genocide. Because these 2 scientists have been paid, I think have been bribed, and this from very famous university, they don't announce that there is another species that's very high called Culex mosquito. The mosquito that they inject is Aedes aegypti. Yeah, but the Culex, that's bring encephalitis, river blind site, and they don't announce that. And the graphic increased 10 times. That's why now I say this is a scientist like that is make a genocide, and we have to bring them to the court. It must be public investigation about this, because the way a private entity to make the program success in a country is always through campus, university. So they finance, and the people in the university are very proud, oh, I received this grant from this, but actually they are only a comprador, comprador is they just been used, yeah. They just been used. This we have to stop.
So in your career, I mean, you've done an extensive career, and you have been involved with researchers. How would you describe to a person who doesn't understand your world that how big of a change is currently happening, or how big of a threat is that what is currently happening? Is it so kind of like I'm actually reframing my question that from your expertise, what is the most important question people should be asking themselves now?
Okay, it's very good. If we bring the subject scientifically, there will be no end, because they will say, look, we already have peer review. But actually, if you see the peer review only from one journal owned by Bill Gates also. So, like that. And we have ample of evidence. For example, in Sri Lanka, when they put this program, after 2 years, they started in 2000, the dengue fever victim increased 300%, the highest, 62,000 cases. Yeah. In Jogja, they do in Indonesia, Jogja, the first year, they say, we are successful because the first year go down 77%. My question when I have debate with them, how about the second year? They didn't tell. How about the third year? They didn't tell. So if we bring to argument of scientific, it's useless, because we have more research show that it is genetic modified, and they say it's not genetic modified. So the approach is the best, is asking the people, do you know that they want to release 200 million mosquito? No, we do not know. So how do you feel? Because in our country, when we want to make fogging, we want to fog at my house, for example, I need the permission from my neighbor. I need permission from the government. If I want a party, I want my birthday party, I have to go to the police. I want to make birthday party. How come they want to release 200 million mosquitoes? You don't ask permission to the people. And because of, so you have to ask whether it is to reduce the dengue fever or not. Of course, they do not want. And Bali, if you know, is a place of tourism and meditation. only counted 200 million. But now, luckily, but the people in Indonesia, I think all over Indonesia, already opened their eyes. A lot of rejection. So the day after tomorrow, the health minister is going to be called by parliament, and the parliament will ask a very harsh question to them. I hope the parliament is not colluded also, because the parliament also because the Bill Gates Foundation have a lot of money. We don't know, but I hope we still have good people in the parliament. So the best way answering your question is directly educating the people and tell, do you know about this program? They say no. Do you agree? No. Informed consent of the people is important.
Wow. Thank you for your insights. I have read about this manufacturing of mosquitoes something throughout the last year, but there was never any substantial evidence, or it was just some random videos where they were claiming that they are putting them out or so on. So we couldn't kind of make a story out of it or dive into a deeper. But this is, I mean, this is incredible. 200 million genetically modified mosquitoes. What can go wrong? Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you have something else you want to add still?
Yes, about the factory, An Indonesian Minister of Health, without telling to the parliament or telling to the people, last year built factory of mosquito. And they want to produce 50 million mosquito a week, so 200 million mosquito, and they want to export that. And then I say, it is that we are so suffer that we have to get our income from exporting mosquito to other country, while we have a lot of mineral resources here that can give added value. So there's something fishy about this. And the factory need blood, right? The blood. So for the moment, the Indonesian government work with the Brazil private company, that the blood is from them. So it's all a big business. And if you see during the G20, was in Bali at the time, the Minister of Health proposed to all businessmen, there is a $10 billion opportunity here in the health sectors, so why you don't come? So he sells Indonesia for $10 billion a year for the health of the people. By the way, he's my friend, my good friend. But in this case,
so for a person who is watching this now and thinking that, well, that's another conspiracy theory. So as a scientist and researcher, of course, you dig and you grind and you find and you have evidence. But for a person who is watching this and thinking, oh, this cannot be true, what would you say to where to look at first?
Okay. Maybe I understand if people thinking like that, but I'm a deputy minister, right? So when we have a crisis, the World Bank and the IMF come and offering us money, offering us as I have to deal with them. And I know the covenant they give make our country suffer. So my minister in the time, we went to the World Bank, and when they give this, we go out and we slam the door in front of him. Because we don't want to be like that. But other people maybe will not do like that. They entertain you and so on. And this country is a lot of corruptions. I worked for 35 years government, not have a house. I'm not able to buy a house because the salary is low. So if you see a civil servant can buy a house of $1 to $2 million, absolutely he corrupt. So the conspiracy theory is not theory. You are very naive if you think it is. The meaning of conspiracy, what's the meaning? Conspiracy comes from Latin word, con and spirare. Spirare meaning breathing. Con means together, breathing together. Conspirare is a very natural thing. The conspirare already exists in Adam and Eve, where the devil conspired with the Eve. It's only like that. So collusion, corruption is a conspiracy. Can you imagine such a big scale like this? There is no conspiracy. G20, I want to tell. The G20, they make a definition that for the next pandemic, we do not know, they already know, the next pandemic, they must have a identity card issued by WHO.
Yeah.
So it is not your ID like normal, it's issued by WHO. So it's one of controlling. And G20 signed that, including my president. Don't you think it's a conspiracy? Or they are very stupid? But I don't think they are stupid. Like the Minister of Health, he was a president director of the biggest bank. It's not stupid. So conspiracy, that conspiracy theory is not a theory. It exists. It exists.
How?
I was teaching in one university. This university, if I talk like this, it's not nice, but mostly are Jews. And if you see my name is not Indonesian name. Richard Claproth is a Jewish name, right? So I can teach in that university. Our conversation is very simple. If my colleague, a professor, have a paper, economic paper, he just show me, Richard, what do you think about my theory? And I said, your economic theory, have you tried this? No, it's only a theory. But I want to implement that. I think it's very dangerous if you implement that. Why? Because the country can suffer. No problem. We can try in Burkina Faso. We can try in Africa. This is the mental, their mentality. So don't tell that conspiracy. You are very naive. People are very naive and say, the minister, when I give the input, the Minister of Health, he said, Richard, sorry, your data is not valid. It's theory, conspiracy theories. So it's very easy to label you because they say you are nuts. Come on. I'm a professor. I'm a PhD. I'm in the government for 35 years. I deal with all of them. And they try also to bribe me. Yeah. I know there's a conspiracy. I'm witnessing. It's not I believe. I know.
So
Let's see. One moment, Lika. The 200 million egg can enter to Indonesia. If I go to Finland, and I bring plants, the immigration will stop me, right? And ask, what is that? You cannot enter. Now 200 million can enter to Indonesia. You think there's no conspiracy with our intelligence? It's a common sense. And when I talk so hard like that, why don't they catch me? Why don't they put me in jail? Because I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, they don't want you in the court.
Yeah, I'm telling the truth, and I have the evidence, and I have the confession, and I record them. And the confession, I was in the Minister of Planning Board, and all the scientists who make the research say that our intelligence will help us. In front of the minister is selected. So they cannot catch me. Catch me if you can. But you need courage. But the message, Lika, is really must be spiritual unity. Yeah. We have to talk to the spirit of the people. That can move the people. You see in the world how many times we do protests, we educate, doesn't work. Yeah. We have to win the heart, we have to talk to the spirit that we love this planet. Then I think it can work.
There you answered to my last question. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for coming on air. I wish you all the best, and hopefully we will talk again in the future, and a lot of success and warm thoughts and feelings from here, -17 in Finland, to the warm Indonesia.
Thank you, Lika, for having me.
Thank you.
I hope this news spread to Europe. Thank you very much to help.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night.